President Biden speaking to reporters just a few minutes ago. Let's watch.
It went incredibly well. We spent a long time together. I got a chance to spend a lot of time with Tiana and the family. And we just talked about, it's 1 year anniversary. And those of you who've been through personal loss know that although every anniversary is you're happy people remember, it also brings everything back immediately. Like it happened that day. It takes a lot of courage to go through it. And they've been wonderful. And I've spoken with the negotiators. I'm hopeful that sometime after Memorial Day we'll have an agreement on the George Floyd legislation. And so I'm optimistic, and I think they spoke to, maybe they didn't speak to you, spoke to some of you. I think they were very pleased with the time we spent together. It was mostly personal. We spent a long time, I guess almost a couple hours.
What have you decided?
First thing she did when she ran in, just threw her arms around me, gave me a big hug, and wanted to sit in my lap. And we spent, she also loved the idea that she said, I'm really hungry. And so she said, do you have any snacks?
What did you give her?
Well, we gave her, my wife would kill me. We gave her some ice cream. She had some Cheetos, and I think she had a chocolate milk. I'm not sure what the third one was. But they were in and out. I showed them all, and we spent time. I spent time showing them around, not just the Oval, but around the White House, and they were interested in. Gave them all little mementos, especially her. I had a great picture of Gianna when I went down for the funeral, or the eve of the funeral. And, gave her that.
When have you decided to meet with President Putin? And why are you...
So that was the president talking about meeting with the family of George Floyd on the anniversary of his death. We're having some trouble hearing that audio, so we are going to continue with the 5 here. The Washington Post just published the mother of all puff pieces, boasting about President Biden's workout routine and his desire to escape the Washington bubble. They also did some hard-hitting reporting on Biden's favorite Gatorade flavor, orange, and his cookie preference, chocolate chip. Here's just a small sample. Quote, Biden begins his mornings with a workout that often includes lifting weights, and he meets regularly in person with a trainer. During the 2020 campaign, he biked regularly on both a traditional bike and a Peloton. His current Peloton preferences are something of a state secret, however. And the White House press pool can't get enough.
What more can you tell us about the president's health regime? We hear he's lifting weights. What sort of weights is he lifting? Does he have a personal trainer? And what happened to his Peloton bike? Did he bring it to the White House?
I have nothing to read out on the president's private exercise regime, but I can tell you, having traveled with him a fair amount, sometimes he's hard to keep up with.
All right, so guys, we have the anniversary of the Floyd death. We have China covering up the lab situation. We have Russia hacking our pipeline. Biden's done nothing about it. He let the other pipeline go to Germany. Inflation. And he's getting asked about Peloton, Dana. What's going on here?
You forgot the border, and I'm really disappointed in you.
How could I forget? I'm sorry.
How could you possibly, Jesse, you of all people, forget
I know,
the border?
of all people.
Not to mention our problems with Taiwan and the Chinese over there. Now, especially after that last segment, we're probably going to have like an emergency meeting somewhere. So if you're the White House press secretary and you get a question like that, it's like a home run, easy. Those are kind of fun. But also that reporter probably knows how to get clicks, right? Because people like to read about these types of things. They'd like to do it with Obama, too. But with President Trump, it was the opposite, though, right? It was that, oh, he likes his steak well done. By the way, so do I. And he eats it with ketchup. And also he eats French fries and he has a terrible diet. Like those were the things that reporters would write about and click on. Everybody clicked on him. But this kind of thing happens. I don't know what he does on Peloton. I'm gonna guess, Greg, he probably does hitting hills.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
No, that's what Hunter does.
Low impact. Does the low
impact. What do you think, Greg? I just found out he doesn't watch cable news except for Morning Joe. which explains a lot.
That explains it. Joe's almost as in good shape as the illegal aliens sprinting across our border. I did that for Dana. It's hard to actually conjure up strong feelings, negative or positive, towards Joe Biden, and that's his secret superpower, which allows him to be such an effective conduit for far-left policies, the squad. People hated Trump so much that they over-scrutinized everything he did to a point of actually hallucinating things that he didn't do. But with Joe, he's just so Joe. He just goes along to get along. The media is pleased as punch because they don't have to work that hard. They get to sleep at night, and they're getting the far-left policies. And it really is. It comes down to it's so important to like your president. Sure, you're going to have inflation. You're going to have a terrible border and rampant crime that is all like 20 cities now that hasn't been seen since the 1960s. We're seeing expanding unemployment. We're seeing media-driven racial conflict. But for God's sake, there's no tweeting at midnight. What a trade-off. I am so happy I can sleep.
Katie, my favorite part of the story, they showed part of his schedule at 9:50 a.m. He waits around for Ron Klain, his chief of staff. He waits, the president around
Ron
for his
Klain.
chief of staff.
The Prime Minister.
Yes.
Joe Biden's waiting for the actual the Prime Minister of the United States, Ron
Yes,
Klain.
yes.
And then he waits for for his Vice President Harris to also run the show. First of all, why is the press not demanding that the White House physician come out and give a real detailed, explanation of the president's health?
Yeah.
The American people deserve that, especially after the president fell up the stairs twice, which could have been a really serious problem. But I'm glad to know that he has a trainer because he can do some hand-eye coordination drills to make that not happen again.
Juan, another juicy nugget from this thing. He has lunch with Kamala once a week, and while they sit down and eat, they see montages of pictures of themselves that they had taken of them doing events throughout the week.
I don't know what to say. I
Me
don't know
neither.
what kind of room they're in where they have that kind of monitor up next to them. It's kind of
in the
weird.
private
But by
dining
the way,
room.
just quickly, no, do they have a big monitor like that? I didn't know
It's just
that.
like TV screen.
Yeah, there's a
I guess
TV.
they have to bring it
Yeah,
in.
there's a TV.
Yeah. Anyway, I just think the press gushes over new presidents regularly. I mean, think about George Washington and the cherry tree, Jesse. Legends get built. Dolly Madison, the greatest hostess ever. With Trump, by the way, Ivanka and Jared, they were the power couple for every cover. So we have this. Ronald Reagan had it for 6 years, but he was a pro until Iran-Contra, and then it, went away. But yeah, it was. I think this is what happens right before they start taking out the long knives for you.
I'll wait for
see.
that one.
We'll see.
I'll watch the clock on that, those long knives. Up next.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.